You wake up in a medieval dungeon. Your phone's dead. You aren't. Let's find out for how long. You wake up on stone. It's cold, wet, and smells like something between rust and bad soup. Your phone's dead. You aren't. Yet. Your eyes adjust. Great news. No windows, no signal, one rat. Welcome to your medieval dungeon. You sit up. The straw sticks to you like confetti at the worst party of your life. Your wrists ache, your head is pounding. You check yourself with shaky hands. Still alive, still intact. Congratulations. The room's about the size of a cheap storage unit. 4 walls of rock, 1 door of heavy wood. You run your fingers along it like some kind of sad archaeologist. Hinge pins, big keyhole, cold metal, all things you can't use. Yet, you listen. Drip, drip. Footsteps somewhere above you. Keys jingling like background music. Someone coughs. The air tastes like smoke and iron. You swallow and it scratches. You spot a bucket. You hope it's for water. You're wrong. Next to it, a dented tin cup. You decide to call it hope. You set it under the slow drip from the ceiling. It blinks. Medieval hydration coming soon. The rat stares at you. You stare back. You name him Management. Management blinks, unimpressed, and disappears into the straw. You press your back to the wall. Knees up, feet off the damp floor. Small victory? You're a bit warmer. You rip a strip from your shirt and wrap it around a scrape on your arm. It darkens. You try to look tough. You rehearse a line for whoever walks in next. Name, trade. Someone important expects you alive. Say it calm. Say it boring. Gods hate interesting people. Keys jingle again. Further away this time. You breathe in, out. Count 3 heartbeats. The cup under the drip fills a little. You hold it, sip. It tastes like rain, metal, and poor choices. Okay, you whisper to the dark. 1 hour at a time. The dark doesn't answer. Daylight. Not that you see it, but you feel the rhythm change. The guard's boots stomp slower. Voices drift closer. Somewhere above you, a bell rings. Welcome to your medieval Monday. The tin cup in your hand holds maybe 3 sips of dungeon juice. You drink anyway. It tastes like iron roofing. You don't complain. Complaining's for people with options. Breakfast arrives. A hand shoves a wooden bowl through the hatch. Inside, a grey lump that once identified as bread and something that might be soup, but could also be melted horse. You take a bite. Your teeth protest. You chew slower than a depressed cow. You swallow. Victory. You decide to ration it, not because you're disciplined, but because if you eat it all now, you'll get to enjoy 6 straight hours of hunger with nothing to look forward to. Smart. You kick some straw aside to sit. The straw smells like wet dog and regret. It sticks to your wounds. You adjust. You tell yourself medieval tetanus builds character. The rat reappears. Management. He eyes your bread like he's negotiating. You toss him a crumb. He takes it, then scurries off like a tiny mafia boss. You've made your first trade deal. Congratulations, you're in medieval business. You stretch, ankles, wrists, back. The shackles bite, but you keep moving. Better to ache now than lock up later. You remember every smug yoga instructor you ignored in your old life. They were right. You hate that. A god finally shows up. He looks at you like you're already guilty, which is fair because here you don't need a reason. You smile politely. You rehearse the line. Your name? Your trade? Someone important wants you alive. He grunts, drops another ladle of soup and walks off. Perfect. You're boring. Boring keeps you breathing. The bucket in the corner stares back at you. You don't stare long. Some things are better blurred. Hours crawl. You listen to the rhythm, boots, keys, cough, silence. You mark time with crumbs and sips. You hum an old song. The echo makes you sound worse. The dungeon doesn't care. You practice small victories. Collecting another drop of water. Shoving straw under your legs so they're not soaked. Not screaming when your stomach growls like a dying animal. Tiny wins stack up. That's survival here. You whisper again to the dark. Halfway through the day, still alive. The dark doesn't clap, but it also doesn't kill you. That's a win. Night in the dungeon doesn't look different. It just feels heavier. The air thickens. The walls press in. You learn the medieval secret. Darkness has weight. The guard's routine changes. Fewer footsteps, more silence. Silence is worse. At least boots meant someone was alive out there. Silence means you get to talk to the dark again. The dark is a terrible listener. Dinner arrives, if you can call it that. Another scoop of beige mystery stew, this time colder. You don't ask what's floating in it. You eat half, save half. That's optimism or denial. Hard to tell. Then the door scrapes open. Not food this time, a guard. 2 of them, actually. They want to chat. Medieval style. You stand as much as shackles allow. You keep your line ready. Name, trade, important person wants you alive. Short, simple, boring. They don't like boring. That's the point. They ask questions anyway. Where were you last night? Who did you meet? Why are you here? You give the same answer 3 times like a broken record. They grunt. They want you to slip. You don't? Boring wins again. One of them hints at the rack or the irons. You nod like they just offered you an extended warranty. You ask if a scribe can write down your answers. Bureaucracy confuses everyone, even in the 1300s. They don't like it. They leave. You sit back down. Congratulations, you just weaponized paperwork. The night stretches. The stone floor leaches warmth from your bones. You tuck straw around your shoulders. It smells like regret but holds heat. You hug your knees. You look like a sad meatball. That's fine. You're a warm meatball. The rat returns. Management. He inspects your soup bowl, steals a crumb, then vanishes like an auditor. You're starting to respect him. You set goals to stay sane, tiny ones. Count your breaths until you lose track. Flex your ankles and wrists until they ache less. Whisper a song, even if the echo makes you sound terrible. Pretend the straw is a featherbed, and almost believe it. Every small task buys you another 5 minutes. 5 minutes becomes an hour. The hours crawl, but they move. Pain lurks in the joints. Your wrists throb. Your back burns. You adjust. You remind yourself, pain means alive. Dead people don't get sore. Midnight comes, or what you think is midnight. The hall is quiet except for one cough in the distance. You sip the last of your water. It tastes like rust and hope. You whisper again to the dark. Still here. The dark stays silent, which is fine. Silence beats screaming. You close your eyes. Tomorrow isn't promised, but tonight you've survived. Morning arrives the only way you can tell. The guard's boots return to their cheerful routine. 4 steps, jingle of keys, cough, the medieval alarm clock. You open your eyes. Your back hates you, your wrists hate you, and your stomach is holding a violent protest. Congratulations, you've survived one full medieval night. Only slightly cursed. The hatch opens. Another chunk of bread. Another ladle of what might be peas, or might be pea's evil cousin. You eat it anyway. You've lowered your standards. That's progress. Then comes the waiting game. Release, transfer, or round 2 of dungeon and interrogation. All 3 are on the table. If you're lucky, you'll be released. History lesson. Dungeons weren't meant for long stays. They were holding pens, not hotels. Trials came fast, punishment faster. That's right, this wasn't Netflix prison drama. You weren't meant to be here for years just until someone decided whether you'd be fined, branded, or occasionally set free. If you're less lucky, transfer, maybe to a larger cell block, maybe to the castle tower where the draft is better but the view still sucks. Or, if your crime had flair, the town square. Stocks pillory, maybe a flogging, because in the Middle Ages, community engagement meant pelting you with rotten vegetables. Escape? Possible, but usually dumb. Locks were crude, yes, but guards weren't. Medieval keys were heavy lumps of iron with simple wards. If you had a nail or wire, you might jimmy one open. But then what? You're barefoot, half-starved, and the whole town knows your face. You'd be free for about 12 minutes, tops. So you wait. You rehearse your two-line story again. Your name, your trade, and that one important person who allegedly cares about you. Boring, steady, repeat. If medieval justice had a weakness, it was paperwork and patience. The rat returns, management. He sits on the edge of your bowl like a shareholder at a board meeting. You flick him another crumb. He nods, probably approving your performance review. Time drags. Then the keys stop outside your door. Metal screeches, the hinges groan. Light slices in sharp and unwelcome. A guard gestures, no words, just a look. You stand, legs trembling but still legs. You shuffle out, the air outside feeling almost fresh compared to the swamp you've been breathing. Congratulations. You lasted 24 hours in a medieval dungeon. You didn't freeze, starve, or lose your mind completely. You met your rat boss. You invented a hydration system. You even weaponized bureaucracy. You're still alive, which in the 14th century is a rare accomplishment. You whisper one last line to yourself as the guard drags you into the light. Let's not do this again.